Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're tunneling into the Bronze Age Near East. We're looking at a real paradox. A god who was, well, incredibly important, spread across the map, lasted for ages, basically ran Syria. But he's also one of the hardest figures for scholars to really, define. We're talking about Dagan.
That's right. If you really want to understand the power structures back then, 3rd, 2nd millennia BC, you have to look at Dagan. The sources are, well, they're pretty explicit. They call the mid-Euphrates region the marrow of the bone of his cult. But here's the kicker, the real puzzle.
Okay.
Unlike, say, Baal or Marduk, Dagan has 0 narrative myths. We just don't have stories about him fighting monsters or, creating the world.
The ghost who runs the show, kind of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So our mission today is to piece together who he actually was using. Well, the bits and pieces we do have. Admin records, royal inscriptions, cult stuff. And we're focusing right on Syria, his home turf.
Okay, let's unpack that straight away. Starting with the basic problem, just identifying him in the early texts. Ibla, 3rd millennium. The logograms, the signals were confusing.
Oh, they were. A huge headache, especially the symbol DBE. Now, usually that just means Bul-lum, Lord.
Yeah.
Simple enough.
Right.
But some early scholars jumped to saying, okay, DBE must be Dagan, because, well, Dagan was obviously a major lord.
But that didn't quite hold up.
No. When you compare how names were written syllabically versus with logograms, it became pretty clear that DDE on its own was just too generic. It wasn't always Dagan.
It's just the Lord. It could be anyone.
Basically, yeah, the Lord of this place. Unless, and this is the key exception, unless that DBE symbol is followed by a specific place name, like DBE of Tuttul, then it's clearly an epithet for Dagan in that specific city. Lord becomes his title there.
I see. So context is everything. And if Lord was too messy, they needed something else later on, like in the Middle Babylonian period, Emar, for instance. They started using DKR.
Exactly. They often switched to DKR. And why the swap? Well, it looks like a deliberate choice, a theological statement almost.
Oh.
While D-carrier can sometimes mean mountain or even hint at the underworld, the best fit seems to be linking it to one of Dagan's big epithets, Kurgal, the Great Mountain.
Ah, the Great Mountain. So they swapped a potentially confusing local sign for a title that basically screams top god around here.
Pretty much. It standardizes him, asserts his dominance. A clever bit of scribal branding, you could say.
Speaking of dominance and location, his cult had some major power centers, Tuttul and Turka, right, along the Euphrates.
Absolutely critical. Tuttul comes first. The Ibla archives way back call it the place where kingdoms swore their big oaths. That's serious political weight.
And didn't Sargon have a cod?
He did. That's the historical anchor. Sargon, the empire builder, marches through, stops at Tuttul, and actually prostrates himself before Dagan's sanctuary. That tells you everything about Tuttul's sacred power.
Wow. Okay. And then Turka steps up later.
Correct. By the Old Babylonian period, so think Hammurabi's time roughly, the texts from Mari leave no doubt. They call Turka the city beloved of Dagan. It's the new holy city.
And this focus on holy cities, on specific places, it leads into his biggest role, doesn't it? The kingmaker.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is where Dagan's power gets really tangible.
So how does that work? You've got this god, again, no big stories about him, yet he's the one handing out crowns. How does he get that kind of political clout?
Because he was understood as the source of kingship, the ultimate authority. We have inscriptions, like from Lim of Mari.
Right.
He claims Dagan didn't just proclaim my kingship, but actually gave him the powerful weapon he needed to win battles. It's divine endorsement and practical help.
So it's not just passive blessing.
Not at all. And later, another king, Sumerogram, different dynasty entirely.
Yeah.
He's also called appointed by Dagan. Dagan wasn't just a god you prayed to for luck. He was the divine bureaucracy. He signed off on your right to rule.
Okay, so the political power is immense. That's his public face. But what about the rituals? You mentioned scraps of cultic texts. Let's shift from the palace, maybe, to the cemetery. His role in the funerary cult. That sounds unique.
It really is.